Welcome back to the club, brought to you by Super 6. We've got a massive face-off. Man United versus Chelsea.
This is where the big clubs come out, yeah? The big, mighty,
I've always thought it's
fighting
a
for
dead game,
mid-table.
Chelsea United has always never been as exciting as it should have been in the classic Ferguson-Mourinho era. Is it more exciting now?
It's the Rory McKola club derby.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I think it's a big game. There's been some great.
Used to
encounters.
be huge, didn't it?
Yeah,
like,
there's been some great
usually
encounters.
decided the title, or it felt like it would decide the title. If United got a result at Stamford Bridge back in the day, I felt like, we're going to go win the league, we can go and win the league. It was a big pointer to where you were at in a season. Now,
that's the big word.
But now,
But I still think
now
for
it's
everyone,
top four,
I still believe, even though Manchester United haven't won the league for over a decade and they're sort of struggling, I still believe that everybody, when the fixture list comes out, Old Trafford is one of the iconic fixtures of the season.
Oh, the away fans, everyone looks for
it's definitely one of the fixtures that you're looking for, and in some level, it's even better today because you believe that you can go and get a result there. Chelsea have generally had a very good record at Old Trafford, and Manchester United have historically had a good record at Stamford Bridge, but lots of fans now will look at Old Trafford as a great opportunity.
I mean, Luton fans did.
Yeah, because you look at it as a great opportunity, don't you? Because it's a scalp, but it's not a scalp.
Also, the stadium usually brings the best out of opposition.
Of course it does.
Yeah,
And
it's
they play their memories of Man United rather than the current Man United, which is a problem for us.
Yeah. I've got
they
a
think
question
they're
for both
playing
of you. Who leaves their role earliest? Is it Ten Hag or Pochettino? Yeah.
It's a really hard one to decide. You know why? On one hand, you go, feels like it should be Poch because it kind of feels like the Glazers will stick by Ten Hag and whatnot. But then you've got this whole Ineos thing, people coming in. Are they going to want their own guy? You know, United have lost about half of their fixtures this season. And Chelsea's owners have previously gone, well, actually, we want to do the long-term thing. We couldn't do it with Potter because, factors decided that we couldn't do it with Potter. So maybe now they try and stick with Pochettino. Because of the pressures at both clubs, it wouldn't surprise me either way. But right now, I'd have to say Ten Hag's the most under pressure.
100%.
In terms of leaving first, it's not quite a fair fight because obviously Ten Hag's been there a year longer. So Pochettino should, and I think rightly will have, a grace period of a year anyway. Ten Hag's had his grace period of a year. So in terms of who leaves sooner, you're inclined to go Ten Hag, but that's because he started earlier as well.
And he's more likely to be sacked.
And he's more,
You would have thought
he's doing well.
Potter would have had the grace period though, right?
He would have done. He was just so incapable.
Whereas you're seeing signs with Poch.
Yeah, with like Pochettino this year, I don't think he can get sacked because he's clearly the best thing about the club in a football conversation. He's clearly as soon as you're above the players, as soon as you're not player level, in terms of any kind of management capacity, he's the only football person at the club. So I don't think he can be
That's
sacked.
where me and you agree a lot on our positions, like with our managers. Like, I look at Ten Hag and I go, he's the only thing right with Man United.
Yeah.
Like, you need to stick by him, and that's kind of the position you're in.
Yeah,
Poch is the only one, like,
the only
knows
difference
what
is
he's doing is a proper football person at the club.
I think it's probably fair to say, although Chelsea have a history of sacking managers, and even this new regime, they've come in and they've said all the right things about not sacking managers, and then I think they've employed 5, haven't they? There've been 5 managers at the club. They've been there a year. So the reason why I feel like Ten Hag though could be under more pressure is because it's Manchester United. It's a bigger job. It's a bigger job. The expectations are bigger, and it's going worse. He's in a bigger job. The expectations are larger, and he's doing worse.
And it's been longer since Man United won the league title. It's been 6 or 7 years for Chelsea,
and
they've got European silverware
you can't
in
hit
between.
Ten Hag with that stick.
No, you can't.
You know what I mean? You can't use that
of
as a
course.
reason to sack him.
But
what
it's
he
been a
said's
longer
right,
dip for United
because people
than
go,
Chelsea.
he's had 2 summers. Even though I don't think that makes a difference to how I judge him.
Yeah.
People go, he's spent money on this. I know Pochettino has, but almost he didn't spend the money. That money was going to be spent anyway by the owners.
I think the problem is with both of them, and I suppose Adam and I, ironically, despite the fact that we're the two sat here, you, Buvey, would probably be best equipped to answer this question, because Adam and I obviously have a dog in a fight. We're obviously incredibly tribal and biased about it, and we don't want the best for each other's clubs. Whereas, and because of that, we're going to make a case for our manager, and I will say why Ten Hag should be sacked, and I'll start throwing out things that don't necessarily tell the full story. I'll go, well, they've lost more games than they've won, and whatever else. And Adam could do the same about Pochettino. You're 10th in the league. You've already lost at home to Forest. Whatever. What do you think? Like, who do you feel like will be sacked first?
I think Ten Hag could get sacked this season. I don't think there's a world Pochettino gets sacked. I think Chelsea could rock up at Old Trafford and get a win as well. I think the way you're playing against the big sides is testament to that. I've got a question for both of you then. Who wins the league first out of both your clubs?
Well, next. I think Chelsea are more likely because of the fact at the moment they've got owners that want to spend to win the league.
Oh, see, I disagree with.
You know,
I disagree with that.
Manchester United spend money. Don't get me wrong, but you also look at the way the transfer window went for Manchester United in the last window. Like Amrabat should have been done earlier. We ended up getting him done on loan because of FFP situations. And I know Chelsea may down the road come into an FFP issue, but they feel like they've got owners that actually you can criticise them for how they spend money, but they want to. At Manchester United, we haven't got. Maybe Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos changed that, but that's maybe as ifs and buts.
And
the Glazers don't seem like they want to.
It's so interesting, right? Because I don't see it that way. You know, when you said Chelsea spend money to win the league, I actually don't think that's how this ownership is spending money at all. If you're trying to win the league, so for example, if you were going to spend £1 billion, and in the summer that you've just had, what players do you sign in order to win the league? So players to win the league, you go out and you sign Declan Rice, and you sign James Maddison, and you sign Harry Kane or Osimhen, absolutely. Yeah. You sign players like that. None of the players at Chelsea signed. We didn't sign Maddison because we thought he was too old. But
are they not signing players and making signings so that it's all based on potential, right? So that eventually they can.
It's based on money. It's based on increasing the value of the club. It's based on increasing and turning a profit on the player. So you sign Moises Caicedo for a fortune, but then he goes on to become the best in the world in his position.
But I don't think that can work. Because if you're spending top dollar on all these players, how can I know transfer fees are going up, obviously, but how can you turn a profit? Because
easily.
What if
no one's signing Caicedo?
My point is because 70% of them are going to potentially flop.
No, but
so their price isn't going to go up.
No,
right?
It will go up. It will because the economics of football, it's a microeconomy. It's they're moving exponentially.
No, my point here is you're probably not going to, when you sell Caicedo, if you do, you're not making a profit.
You'd be lucky to break even.
I think you will. No, you will. Not necessarily because the player doesn't need to represent a better player to increase
you just think
value.
The market will shift?
I think the market moves. If you look, the example that I'll always compare this to is the London property market, right? If you bought a house in London in 1990 in a terrible manner, you buy a house Wilson Junction, you will buy it there and it will cost...
Sorry to those people that live there.
Yeah, sorry to everyone who lives there. No, a lot of people who live there. Right? You buy a house there. In 1990, it would have cost you nothing. And even if you got ripped off, so say that house would have cost 50 grand then, and you paid 80 grand. Today it's worth 2.5 million. So you've done well. You were an idiot. You massively overpaid, and you made more money. I think that that Todd Bowley and Clearlake are looking at not only Chelsea but European sport and seeing it as this mad Wild West unregulated thing where you can make loads of money. If you want to win the league,
success though,
to win the league,
profits, right?
to win the league, you don't just buy. You don't have a policy of buying under 22-year-olds or whatever it is.
I think Adam's point also means that what you're saying is bang on in terms of you sign these young players, a Cole Palmer, for example, but it also takes you to a league title. Because you're signing this array of talent that Man United, their owners aren't quite doing to the same level and haven't done for 10 years now.
But to win the league, you don't win the league with a team of kids, do you?
No, but you can build a team.
They're world-class kids with Thiago Silva.
Like, look at Arsenal's team. They didn't win the league, so maybe your point's proven. But they built a young team to challenge for the league and hopefully grow into challenges, right?
I don't think that Chelsea's ambition with this ownership is to win the league.
Yeah, I feel the same about our owners. I feel the same about our owners. Look,
so
United could win the league, but what we're relying on is the genius of a manager. Or, like Fergie. Yeah. Fergie won leagues not because of the Glazers, because of him.
Yeah.
And he got around certain situations.
It's fair to say you don't have that with Ten Hag, even though he's a decent manager. He's not going to outsmart Klopp, is he?
But right now,
Conte's league title is a great example of that. Yeah. Winning the league when you don't have the players to win the league.
So we agree Chelsea are more likely to win the league title, I think, fairly. I'd say that. Let's do a Man United.
That could change very quickly.
I'm not sure I agree.
Of course it could. It's interesting. Let's do a Man United Chelsea combined 11 from current squads. Let's do a 4-3-3. I think that's fair for both parties. In goal,
Onana.
I don't think our goalie's any good either.
I think Onana's settled in. I do think he's settled.
He's improved.
I don't like our goalie.
Made a few mistakes.
I don't like our goalie, but I think Onana's had a worse start to the season than Sanchez.
He was good against City.
I think he has made some high profile. He's conceded 4, didn't he, against City?
Yeah, but that's true. Could have conceded 8.
I know we've conceded a lot of goals this season, but I do think Andre Onana has grown into it. And I think whilst he has made mistakes, I think there's been some games where he's absolutely saved us.
I'll be deciding vote.
You look
Just
at
to
the,
get it moving if you want.
you look at the Copenhagen game at home, for example, like last minute penalty save. Like you look at some of the saves in other league games and stuff where he keeps us in.
Sanchez has had moments as well, though. I mean, look, I think they both haven't played particularly well.
I would like Dumb and Dumber fighting.
I would have said, yeah.
I'd take Onana just to get it moving.
Yeah,
right back.
So
I mean, right back is Reece James. The issue that we have with Reece James is he's just not fit enough. But
it's not. This isn't based. This is from current squads, not based on season.
Reece James.
Two centre backs.
It's Thiago Silva,
Alessandro Martinez. You got Varane though as well.
I think Martinez is a great shout. I think
I'd go Alessandro and Thiago or Varane.
Yeah,
I think based on Premier League form, Thiago Silva's been better.
Yeah,
based on Premier League form.
Yeah, so I mean the player I'd put forward would be Badiashile, who I think has been brilliant. But I suppose there's more data on Lisandro Martinez.
The left back's interesting. Yeah, because Luke Shaw's not quite playing injured, and Cucurella's come back into the fold a little bit.
I think it has to be Luke Shaw, man. It's Luke Shaw or Chilwell.
It's an interest. Like Chilwell would be my choice there, but equally,
Luke Shaw's England's left back.
Like Chelsea have an interesting issue there because I think Chilwell is our best left back, but is not often available. Cucurella, he's not as bad as people make out, but he's also not as good as. It's Luke Shaw.
Yeah, it's easy, Luke Shaw. Defensive midfielder. Let's just do one DM and then a couple of more attacking midfielders. So one defensive midfielder.
I'm trying. Hang on.
You go with the experience and the age of Casemiro. You go with Caicedo, who's younger, more mobile.
You'd rather sign Caicedo.
I mean, the player that has to be in this midfield, however we're going to do it. If you want to do this almost combined and go, who has to be in? Conor Gallagher cannot be left out of this.
We'll do that further up because he's playing more advanced, isn't he, as a midfielder? We're talking deep line midfielder.
Conor Gallagher's going to get. You're suggesting that he has to get in ahead of like Bruno Fernandes and stuff.
No, not necessarily ahead of Bruno, but alongside Bruno. But Conor Gallagher can't be left out of any combined 11.
Who's the DM? Let's just do Caicedo versus Casemiro as the true defensive midfielder.
Or could we? I mean, Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're doing a midfield three and we're keeping it a little bit fluid.
If I was to pick a midfield three of the two squads, Enzo's in there.
Yeah,
but Enzo's not been as good as Conor Gallagher. So if it's
no, but I'm basing this on current squads. I'm not basing it on form this season.
Enzo.
Otherwise, Sandro Martinez isn't there. Shaw's not in there. Reece James isn't in there, etc. I would go Casemiro, Enzo, and Bruno if I was to pick it.
And I would go
based off
Enzo
names on
Fernandez, Conor Gallagher, Bruno Fernandes.
I'd go with Rory's just because of form this season. We have to do this season. Obviously, he's not. Conor Gallagher's not a better footballer.
Conor Gallagher
is. He's been superb in the last 4 weeks.
Better than Casemiro this season.
Yeah, it's a pure debate about this season.
By the way, I don't agree with anything that's being said here.
No, but do you agree that Conor Gallagher's had a better season than Casemiro?
Yes, but he's
I think that's the only argument.
This is a combined 11 from squads.
Yeah,
there's a reason Reece James, Luke Shaw, all that have got in there because. Some injuries in there as well.
Yeah, because we've seen them.
Conor Gallagher isn't better than Bruno. He isn't better than Enzo, and he isn't better than Casemiro.
He's playing better than Enzo. He's a better player for Chelsea this
season. You have to have
Fernandes.
Gallagher in there. Have to.
I think Enzo has kept you boys together.
That's why it's him, Gallagher, and then your boy Bruno. For me, I think that's balanced.
Just let everyone in the comments. Let Bruno and Rory know they're wrong.
Let us know in the comments down below, of course.
But let's move on.
Let's do our front three. Let's do right wing.
I'd go front three, Raheem Sterling, Marcus Rashford,
Cole Palmer,
Rasmus Højlund through the middle.
Mate, you're not having Rashford and Højlund. They got one goal between them.
You can play Cole Palmer as a false nine.
Cole Palmer's either wide or he's not.
You can play as a false nine.
Cole Palmer has to be in it. Raheem Sterling has to be. Rasmus Højlund hasn't scored a Premier League goal.
Yeah, he has. Scored against Arsenal. Scored 30 last season as well.
Hang on, Rasmus Højlund has not scored.
Rasmus Højlund. I thought you said Rashford.
Rasmus Højlund hasn't scored a Premier League goal.
Top goal scorer in the Champions League.
Rasmus Højlund has not scored
a Premier League. You're playing in the Premier League. You're not playing in the Champions League.
And you're out of the Champions League.
Because you wouldn't be in the Champions League, and Chelsea aren't even in any European competition.
Yeah, I mean Rasmus Højlund hasn't scored a goal. Rashford scored 1 in 15. How on earth are they both?
I don't think any of your front three get in.
Rashford
you've got to employ a bit of logic here, right? Rashford hasn't.
But bro, we're doing it based off current squads. We've put Luke Shaw and players that are
that's true.
That's because there's no alternative. That's because there's no alternative.
We put Lisandro Martinez. That's
because there's no alternative. If Chelsea had a really good left back, I'd be going, well, it can't be Luke Shaw. We've got a really good left back.
Marcus Rashford's the best left forward from the two teams.
Marcus Rashford has scored 1 Premier League goal this season.
He scored 30 last season.
The Højlund shout is the hard one because he's not scored. He's not contributed in the league. He hasn't. But Marcus Rashford has to get in.
Rashford has
to get in. Has to get in. I think you play Rashford on the left, Sterling on the right, and Cole Palmer as a false 9 because he can do that. He's done it at City. He's done it before.
Yeah, I mean, Cole Palmer is the best player that Chelsea have at the moment.
What about Jackson? Why are we missing him, mate? He scored a load of goals. He scored against City. He scored a hat trick against Spurs.
Yeah.
I know
you can say that Jackson scored against City, hat trick. Fair enough, he did. Fantastic. And Rasmus has scored nothing, but Rasmus looks like a better striker than him.
I don't know if he does.
He does.
I don't think he does.
No, I mean he genuinely does.
But the reason why I'm leaving out Jackson is to accommodate Cole Palmer.
Yeah. If
it becomes a Jackson versus Højlund, the answer is obviously Jackson. Jackson went away to the team top of the league.
I think you can throw Cole Palmer in there as a kind of
Cole Palmer has
false
to play.
9.
That's why. Cole Palmer and Raheem Sterling have to play, and I'll do anything to accommodate them.
Okay, let us know in the comments down below.
We've got different front threes here.
You've just got a Man United team.
No, that's the front three though. Raheem Sterling, Rashford, Højlund.
Just Ten Hag's 11.
Rashford, Højlund.
I also picked
half a goal each all season, and they're in.
We'll see how many they have after this game.
Let's wrap up.
Yeah, half a goal each.
Why will Man United beat Chelsea?
We're gonna smash them to bits at home. Home advantage.
Smash anyone to bits. Who smashed to bits? I've only seen you get smashed to bits.
I didn't say what the score was gonna be. Yeah, 1-0, smashing. I think we'll beat them at home. I think home advantage comes into it. I always feel more confident. Like if it was at Stamford Bridge, I'd feel like Chelsea were the favourites. Being at Old Trafford, I think we're the favourites. I think Rashford scoring. Just because you used to have written Rashford and Højlund.
I put him in my team.
I don't even know if
Rashford
he'll start,
and Højlund
mate.
scoring.
Don't-
Rashford and Højlund.
don't
I'm trying to be
start.
neutral.
Rashford and Højlund scoring.
Maybe he'll be dropped. But then Garnacho or Anthony might play, and they haven't scored either, have they?
We're beating you that up. We're going to beat you that up.
Who else?
Rory, let us know why did Chelsea
Sancho scored, no?
Why do you beat Man United at Old
Conor
Trafford?
Gallagher.
We beat them because they're so average, and this could be the moment that Erik Ten Hag actually gets his P45.
Wow.
Mid-table Chelsea.
That is a great way
Ladies
to
and
end
gentlemen.
the video. Thanks so much for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and we'll see you very, very soon.